Hi guys, welcome to Introduction to Business. We're going to be talking about our Chapter 1, Section 1.1, Introduction to Business. And in the chapter it asks, what is business? Well, like we talked on our Zoom session, business is the term for all the activities involved in developing and exchanging products. And products are anything that can be bought or sold, and they're commonly known as goods or services. Now, goods and services, for example, a good is a physical item that can be touched. It's tangible. For example, a car. While a service is an action or a task that can be performed, such as a haircut, getting your grass cut, getting your oil changed, having your taxes done. That's a service. And services and goods are performed for customers. And a customer is an individual or a group who buys products. Now, a customer can be more than just an individual person. They can be individuals, or they can be a business. They can be a nonprofit agency, or even a governmental agency like a school. And they operate in a market. So there are consumer markets and there are business markets. Now, the consumer market is made of customers who buy products for their own use. For example, if you went to Staples and you bought a computer to use at home, that is the consumer market because you're using it for your own use. You're using it for a personal use at home. A business market consists of customers who buy things for use in a business. For example, if you were an accounting firm who went to Staples and you bought computers to use in your office for your business, then that's a business market. It just depends on who is going to use the product, whether it's being used by a consumer at home, personal use, that's a consumer market. If the items are being used in a business, either for like computers in an accounting office, or if you've used it for something else, for example, if we bought computers here at school, we're a business market because we're not using them personally, we are using them in our normal function of business. And next, the chapter talked about the benefits created by business. There were three main benefits created by business. One is providing products. For example, manufacturing a good or service for the community. They are providing a product. Another thing is they're creating markets. If they have designed a new product that has never existed before, they're creating a market to sell that product in. And also, they generate economic benefits. If you think of our area, and I'm going to use the coal industry as an example. When the coal industry was in its heyday, I've always heard that for every coal-related job there was, it created at least 7 other jobs in the area. You know, people who where you spend your money, because if they're working in the area, they're going to be spending their money in the area. So they've spent their money, for example, at the gas station, buying gas to get to work, at the grocery store, because they lived in the area, they've got to eat. They've bought homes in the area or they've paid rent. They shop in the area. They buy fast food or whatever, lunches on the way to work. So think of all the jobs that are created in each of those businesses by someone spending money. So if a business creates jobs, it's going to have a trickle-down effect for other jobs created as well. And another thing that the chapter talked about was wants versus needs. Now, a want is something that a person desires, but they can live without. For example, a new phone, or a new piece of clothing, or something, going out to eat. it would be nice to do or to have, but you can live without it. And it's something you could plan for, but you can live without. A need is something you have to have in order to survive, such as food, clothing, or shelter. You have to have someplace to live, you have to have something to wear, and you have to have something to eat. Now, there's also something to think about in that it's a need to have it, but you may want a designer clothing, but you don't need it. You just need clothing. But you may want something more than that. For example, food. You need food to live. You may want to have a really expensive steak. Your budget may not be able to afford it, but that is a want. But a need is something you have to have in order to survive. And the next thing, in talking about products that satisfy wants and needs, your chapter talked about utility. And utility are the characteristics of a product that satisfy the wants and needs of a consumer. It makes it more appealing for the consumer to buy that product or service. Now, your book talked about 5 types of utility: form utility, place utility, time utility, information utility, and possession utility. Now let's talk about those utilities. The first one is form utility. And a form utility is added when a business changes the form of a good or service to make it more useful. For example, you may have liked it anyway. You may have had it, but maybe the new version is new and improved. For example, a smartphone. They were designed to be ergonomic, easy to be held and easy to be used, compatible with apps, and contain enough storage to be useful. So that's the form utility, that they are useful. For example, new and improved. When the new iPhones came out, they had a new camera, which created a desire for you to want to buy a new camera or a new phone because it had an improved camera, or maybe it had improved storage. But they have changed and added form utility, such as a way to make that product more appealing to you and make you want to buy it. Now the next one is place utility. And place utility is added when products are available at convenient places. For example, shopping malls. Shopping malls, you have a wide variety of stores available in a convenient location. You could do a one-stop shopping and get a lot of things done there. For example, if you were shopping for Christmas, you'd want to go to the mall in order to, make one stop, and you can see all kinds of different stores. Around here, let's think about Walmart. Walmart added their superstore, so they've added a grocery store. Walmart didn't always have a grocery store in its business, but it added, for the place utility, it added a grocery store in order to make a one-stop shop for them. So think of all the products that you can buy in Walmart and do your grocery shopping and make one stop do a lot of things. Another thing is time utility. Businesses add time utility when products are made available at the times the customers need them and want them. For example, some banks offer early morning services for businesses that open early. Maybe they can't get to the bank. They're open the same time the banks are. So banks are opening a little earlier to allow people to shop early or to do their banking early. Also, around here, the banks, the drive-through tellers, are open later. So people who work for a living or who cannot get to the bank during normal business hours, the banks are open at a later time. I'm going to pick on Walmart as well. Think of Walmart staying open 24 hours. When they're open 24 hours, they are changing the time utility to create a desire for people to shop at times that are convenient for them. The next utility is information utility. And information utility is added to a product when the facts and details about a product are made available to a customer and in an easy-to-get format. For example, many electronics manufacturers have digital versions of installation and troubleshooting guides available online. Appliance manufacturers do too. For example, just a couple days ago, I was going online to look up a troubleshooting guide for my refrigerator. It had an error code, and I wanted to look up to see if I needed to call a repairman or if it would fix itself. So that's information utility. Businesses are making their information available to consumers in an easy to get to place. And the next utility is possession utility. And that's when businesses make it, is added for businesses to make it easier for customers to get their product. A lot of times it's delivery, pickup. A lot of times, for example, convenience stores and drive-through pharmacies offer quick access, drive-through banks. Think of during this COVID time, the pickup services. You can order something and you can drive up, for example, to Lowe's and call them and they bring it out to your car. So you don't even have to go into the store to get it. Walmart's grocery pickup. You can pull up outside and call in and they'll bring your groceries out and load them in the car. So they're making it convenient for you to get their products because they think the easier it is for you to get it, the more willing you are to buy something. For example, Amazon. A lot of times Amazon has added the Prime Delivery to get something within 2 days. And for example, my daughter lives in the Louisville area, and Amazon has a huge warehouse there, and she can get 1 hour delivery on some of her products. So that's when businesses are trying to make it so easy for you to acquire the product. You're going to choose their product over the competitor's product because it's easier for you to get. And now, the last thing that we're going to talk about, that the section in your book talked about, were the functions of business. And there were 4 functions. One is the production function, which deals with all of the activities related to making the product, whether it be a good or a service. Anything related to the production or relating to making the product is the production. The finance function is anything that involves money, whether it be payroll or funding a project or anything dealing with finances in a business is the finance function. The marketing function are any activities that anticipate customer demand. They make you want to buy the product, or they will look over the market to see what people need, and they will work with the production function to help design something that would make people want to buy the product. And then lastly, there's the management function. And the management function is the overview of everything. They are the process of making decisions about the business, whether it be production decisions about what to produce, the finance functions, perhaps to get funding, to increase the business, to hire more people, or the marketing functions, whether to go out, reach out, and to look at creating a new product. So management has the overview over all of them, all the functions of the business. Management has a part in. So that concludes section 1.1 of our chapter.